We are in a race against time, and the American people are counting on us and the American Rescue Plan. If you don't think Congress has more work to do here, then you either don't get what American families are going through or you don't care. I don't know how else to say it. Relief cannot wait, and we aren't going to wait. We are going to pass this legislation today, and we are going to provide the aggressive, bold action needed to finally end this pandemic and rebuild our economy.
This American Rescue Plan Act will crush the virus, return children safely to school, support vaccinations, put dollars in families' pockets, and put people back to work. The plan will mount a national vaccination program that sets up the community vaccination sites nationwide.
The Science Committee preventions included in this package. Direct funding through the National Science Foundation and the National Institute of Standards and Technology for vital research related to prevention, response, and recovery from COVID-19.
Pandemics do not respect international borders. To control this pandemic, we need to mitigate its global spread. This provision puts global health front and center.
Madam Speaker, President Biden has set forth a national plan to crush the virus. With this bill, Congress is providing the president with the resources and tools to implement a national plan that was sorely lacking under President Trump.
I rise to support survival checks that put money in the pockets of tens of millions of poor and working people so that they can withstand this devastating crisis. I rise to support child care providers and housing assistance, small business relief, unemployment assistance, and tax credits for children so families can have hope again.
People across America are struggling. Yes, this package is big, but the scale of the challenges that families face is enormous. They need our help, and half measures just won't cut it. We cannot wait.
The American Rescue Plan will help millions of people who are struggling in every community in our nation as a result of the pandemic.
This bill provides security to families with $1,400 survival checks. It provides relief to the unemployed, increasing their insurance to $400 a week. It expands loans to small businesses to help them stay open.
$20 billion for emergency rental assistance, $5 billion for 70,000 new housing vouchers, $10 billion in homeowner assistance, $10 billion to boost emergency medical equipment production, $10 billion for small businesses, and $15 billion for airline workers.
The time for decisive action is long overdue. President Biden's American Rescue Plan is that decisive action. This legislation is transformative, lifting 12 million Americans out of poverty and generating $1.25 for every dollar spent.
If you want to ensure that schools can reopen safely and make up for lost time in the classroom, vote for the bill. If you want to provide relief for institutions of higher education and their students, vote for the bill. If you want to save our child care system from collapse, vote for the bill. If you want to protect workers against the virus and increase their wages, vote for this bill. If you want to maintain access to affordable health care for workers who've lost their jobs, vote for the bill.
Mr. Speaker, the American Rescue Plan is bold action needed to meet this defining moment. 76% of Americans are rooting for its passage. Direct payments to Americans, help for teachers and students to return both of them to the classroom, help for neighborhood restaurants to reopen and to recover, help for local and state governments, and billions for vaccine making and distribution.
Mr. Speaker, after 12 months of death and despair, the American recovery begins tonight. Mr. Speaker, this is a big and bold plan. one of the largest bills in the history of Congress. It is exactly the sort of bold plan that is needed to meet the crisis of this moment.
This bill will invest millions in public health to make sure every community gets the COVID-19 vaccine. It will deliver $1,400 stimulus checks to most Americans, following up on the $600 payment we made last December. It will extend the employee retention tax credit to keep workers on payroll and create new jobs. And it will provide critical assistance to frontline workers, struggling families, and the communities that have been hardest hit by this pandemic.
President Biden promised help is on the way, and here it comes. The American Rescue Plan, a real plan to crush the virus, put money into people's pockets, allow our states and counties and cities to continue to provide the services that are necessary.
To hear some of my Republican friends try to nickel and dime our response, they should talk to an economist. If they did, they would discover what will happen if we don't pass this package now. We could end up with 4 million fewer jobs this year. That's according to Moody's. It will take another 4 years of suffering before the GDP returns to its pre-pandemic levels. That's according to the nonpartisan CBO. Our Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, has said the smartest thing we can do is to act big. In the long run, the benefits will far outweigh the costs.
The brilliance of this rescue package is that it understands those complexities and addresses those many needs.
I am proud this bill includes $50 billion to get our small businesses back on their feet. We're providing targeted assistance for those hardest hit, including grants for small entertainment businesses, cultural institutions, and independent restaurants.
I rise in strong support of this bill, and of the 1.4 million first responders, teachers, transit workers, sanitation workers, and other public servants already laid off from state and local governments across this nation. We must act before more people lose their jobs and before more life-saving programs are cut.
This is not about dollars and cents. This is about lives that are at stake. And we can save them by passing this bill. We will get shots into arms faster. We will help families stay housed and indeed put food on their tables. Full of proven policies, it will fight both for public health and simultaneously the economic crisis. And we will not get back to economic recovery until we defeat this virus. We will enhance and expand the refundable tax credits for low and middle income workers and their families. Combined, these benefits will provide an average income boost of 33% for the poorest 20% of American households. This will be life-changing, and it will lift millions of children in this nation out of poverty. For families, this bill offers a massive savings in child care expenses, which have been a major barrier to returning to the workforce, particularly for women. For millions of jobless Americans, we are ensuring that they can afford life's necessities until this economy rebounds by extending pandemic-related unemployment benefits and increasing that benefit. Access to affordable, comprehensive health care is critical, so we have included provisions to contain costs, particularly for unemployed workers.
We have met the moment with this legislation. We have met the moment of need of this country, and we are proud of the product that we've produced, and we will make sure that the American people get through this pandemic, this economic crisis, this healthcare crisis, this personal crisis, and restore their standard of living and the economy of this country once we get to the other side.